On July 5, 2017, the humid air of Bangkok carried with it the sounds of a bustling city. Inside a lavish villa, a young multimillionaire sat quietly, admiring the empire he had built. His name was Alexander Cazes, though online he was known as Alpha-02, the king of the dark web. In just a few short years, he had risen from an anonymous coder to the mastermind behind AlphaBay, the largest and most dangerous black market the internet had ever seen. His life was one of luxury, expensive cars, luxury estates, and a beautiful fiancée. Yet, as he stared out from the comfort of his villa that day, a sudden crash at his front gate would set into motion his downfall. A female driver had lost control of her Toyota Fortuner and slammed into his property. Enraged, Alexander stormed toward the door, never realizing that when he stepped outside, he was walking directly into a trap that had been years in the making. In seconds, Thai Royal Police and agents from the FBI and DEA swarmed him. The king of the dark web had finally been caught. But to understand how Alexander Cazes ended up here, we have to go back. The story begins in the early 2010s, when the dark web transformed from an obscure tool for privacy advocates into the digital Wild West. Its promise of complete anonymity, combined with the emergence of Bitcoin, created the perfect storm. Suddenly, there was a way to buy and sell illegal goods with untraceable money. The first empire of this new age was Silk Road, launched in 2011. It operated like an underground Amazon, selling everything from drugs to fake passports, with transactions handled entirely in cryptocurrency. Within just 2 years, Silk Road attracted over 100,000 customers and billions in revenue. But every empire has its fall. In 2013, its founder Ross Ulbricht was captured in a San Francisco library, arrested while logged into his laptop so investigators could seize everything. He was sentenced to life in prison, and Silk Road was shut down. The fall of Silk Road created a power vacuum, and dozens of competitors rushed to take its place. Among them was Evolution, which became famous for its escrow system that gave buyers a sense of safety. But in 2015, its operators vanished overnight, taking millions of dollars in user funds with them. It was the ultimate betrayal, a devastating exit scam that shook the dark web community to its core. Fear spread quickly. Vendors abandoned their shops and marketplaces shuddered under pressure from both law enforcement and paranoia. For a brief moment, it looked as though the dark web's golden age might be over. But that didn't last. In July 2014, a new figure emerged, Alpha-02. He launched AlphaBay, a marketplace that started small, selling stolen credit cards and hacking tools, but quickly grew into something monstrous. AlphaBay was bigger, smarter, and more secure than any platform before it. Transactions were mixed and scrambled, making it nearly impossible to trace, and the site's reach expanded to nearly everything: drugs, weapons, counterfeit money, even money laundering services. Within a year, AlphaBay had over 200,000 users and more than 40,000 vendors. By 2017, it was the undisputed king of the dark web, processing over 300,000 listings and $500,000 in sales every single day. Alexander Cazes took a cut of every transaction, and within months he was a millionaire many times over, living the dream life of a digital kingpin. Yet the question haunted investigators around the world: who was Alpha-02? Despite countless hours of surveillance and cyber forensics, law enforcement always hit dead ends. The servers were scattered across the globe. The encryption was airtight. Even when agencies tried buying products themselves, all they ever caught were low-level players. The mastermind remained untouchable until a tiny, overlooked mistake changed everything. In late 2016, DEA agent Robert Mueller received an anonymous email that contained a critical clue. In AlphaBay's earliest days, new users had received a welcome email that contained metadata. Buried inside was a personal address connected to the site's founder. Though the mistake had been corrected quickly, someone had saved it, waiting for the right moment to strike. Tracing that email led investigators to old online accounts from 2008 and 2009, all tied together by the same username. One detail stood out: the number 91 in the email address, which hinted at a birth year. The pieces began falling into place, and soon the phantom had a name: Alexander Cazes, a Canadian-born software developer. Cazes was no hardened criminal. On the surface, he was a freelance coder, running a small tech company, living a seemingly ordinary life. But investigators uncovered something else. His fiancée was Thai, and his social media hinted at a new life overseas. With the help of the Royal Thai police, they tracked him to Bangkok. He wasn't hiding in shadows anymore. He owned 3 luxury properties, drove sports cars, and lived like royalty in one of the city's most exclusive communities. The FBI and DEA launched Operation Bayonet, a global strike designed to take down AlphaBay once and for all. The plan had to be flawless. If Cazes suspected anything, he could wipe his servers and vanish. Agents needed him distracted, vulnerable, and away from his computer. Then, fate intervened. On July 5, 2017, the crash outside his gate gave them the opening they needed. When Cazes rushed to the door, angry and unguarded, law enforcement made their move. He tried to break free, to run back and shut down his system, but it was too late. Within moments, the king of the dark web was in handcuffs. Cazes was taken to a Thai jail, awaiting extradition to the United States. His trial would have been historic. He faced charges that could have meant life behind bars, much like Ross Ulbricht before him. But just a week later, shocking news broke. Alexander Cazes was found dead in his cell. Officials ruled it a suicide, though speculation still lingers. Was it truly his choice? Or was there more to the story? With his death, AlphaBay collapsed, and millions of users were forced to scatter across smaller, less secure markets. For law enforcement, it was a massive victory, but for the dark web, it was only a pause. Other marketplaces rose from the ashes, adapting, evolving, and continuing the endless cat-and-mouse game that began over a decade ago. The story of Alexander Cazes is more than just the downfall of one man. It's a reminder of the dangerous allure of power and the illusion of anonymity. On the dark web, no one is truly untouchable. Every empire, no matter how strong, eventually makes a mistake. And in that one mistake lies the seed of its destruction. To this day, investigators around the world continue their hunt, while new digital kings rise and fall. The cycle never ends. Because in the dark web, there are no true kings, only shadows, only ghosts, waiting for the moment when the light finally finds them.